Hi, good afternoon, or good morning. This chapter 3 is entitled, What Happened in Sandy Pylos? Remember that Telemachus is in search of the whereabouts of his father, and Athena had told him to have faith in her advice and seek out advice from other people about his father. So she tells him to go to Sandy Pylos, which is an island off Greece, and visit King Nestor. King Nestor is one of Odysseus' fellow members of the army, of the Greek army, and he was a friend during the Trojan War. Nestor was there during the Trojan horse episode of the Trojan War, and he was with Odysseus for much of the time, so he may have known what happened to Odysseus, or at least could give Telemachus some type of a hint. So what I'd like you to do is listen while we read chapter 3, called Book 3, and your job is to find out what Telemachus gains from this experience. If he gains wisdom from this experience, how does this give him an advantage, and what types of wisdom does he gain from this experience? And also, how do the gods act to intervene on his behalf, whether it's Athena or another god? So check that out, and please compose at least one paragraph with detailed evidence concerning Book 3, and one detailed paragraph concerning Book 4, and what Telemachus learns in Book 4. And then your job is to turn that in tomorrow, Thursday, and that will be your homework and classwork put together. So here we go. Book 3, What Happened in Sandy Pylos. The sun leapt out of the lovely bay, high into the brazen sky, to give light to the deathless gods and to mortal men all over the fruitful earth. And they came to Pylos, the stately city of Neleus. The people were on the shore, sacrificing jet-black bulls to the blue-crested god who shakes the earth. There were 9 messes. Messes are like a hall where people live together in a community. There were 9 messes, 500 sitting in each mess, and 9 bulls were laid out before each. Well, it looks like they're going to have a party. They had already distributed the tripes, and they were burning the thigh pieces for the god when the ship came sailing in. Wow, they must have to sacrifice a lot to Poseidon. I guess they don't want him to send a bunch of waves onto the island. The crew brailed up the sail and trussed it, and moored ship, and went ashore. Telemachus came ashore too, after Athena, who broke the silence by saying, "Telemachus, there is no need to be shy, not a bit. You know why you have come on this voyage, to ask news of your father, how he died, and where he was buried. Come along then, straight to Nestor. Let us learn what he really thinks and knows about it. You must speak to Nestor yourself, and ask him to tell you the whole truth. He has too much good feeling to deceive you." Telemachus answered, "Mentor, how can I go? How can I greet him? I have no practice in polite speeches. Then again, a young man must be shy when he addresses an older man." Athena, with a glance of her keen eyes, replied, "Some things you will speak of yourself, Telemachus. Some things God will put into your mind. Not without the blessing of heaven were you born and bred, I think." With these words, Pallas Athena led the way briskly, and he followed. They came to the place where the Pylians were all gathered in their messes. There was Nestor, sitting with his sons, and all around were his companions, preparing the feast, with meat broiling and grilling on the spits. When they saw strangers, they came up in a body, and welcomed them, and bade them be seated. Nestor's son, Peistratos, reached them first. He grasped both their hands and seated them in front of the spread, upon soft fleeces, laid on the sands, beside his brother Thrasymedes and his father. Then he gave them their plates of tripe and chitterlings, and poured wine into a golden cup. He raised his cup and called upon Pallas Athena, daughter of Zeus Almighty, and said, "Pray now, sir, to Lord Poseidon, who owns this feast which you have happened to join. When you have poured your drops and offered your prayer as usual, pass on the cup to your friend. He too, I think, will join our prayer to the immortals. For all men need the gods, but he is younger, he is of mine own age, so I will give you the golden chalice first." So saying, he put the cup full of delicious wine in her hands. Athena was pleased that he knew what was proper, and gave her the golden goblet first. At once she prayed earnestly to Lord Poseidon. Wow, even Athena is praying. "Hear me, Poseidon, earth-shaker, and grudge not to accomplish these things for us who pray to thee. To Nestor first and his sons vouchsafe renown. And next, to all the Pylians, besides grant a gracious requital for this splendid sacrifice, and grant that Telemachus and I may have a safe return when we have done that for which we came hither with our swift black ship." And while she prayed, she was doing her part to fulfill it. Then she passed the fine two-handled cup to Telemachus, and the son whom Odysseus loved made his prayer. The others took the broiled meat off the spits and distributed the portions, and all had a famous feast. But when they had taken as much as they wanted, the old cavalier Nestor addressed them. "That is better, and now I may be allowed to put a few questions to my guests, and ask who they are, since they have enjoyed their meal in peace. Who are you, sirs? Where do you come from over the waters? Is it business, or are you voyaging at random, like the sea robbers who voyage about and risk their lives to bring trouble in foreign parts?" Telemachus now plucked up courage, for Athena herself gave him the courage to ask about his father's delay, that he might show he knew how to behave in society. He said, "May it please your majesty, Nestor Neleides, you ask where we come from, and I will answer. We come from Ithaca, in the town under Mount Neon. My business is private, not public. I seek any news I can hear anywhere in the whole wide world of my father, the noble Odysseus, the ever-patient man, who they say fought by your side when you took Troy. We have heard about all the others who were in the war. We know where each of them died, to our sorrow. But as for that man, we have not even heard that he is dead. Such is the will of Cronion. For no one can tell us for certain when he died, whether he was brought low on land by his enemies, or at sea amid the billows of Amphitrite. That is why I am here, to appeal to you. Tell me, if you please, of his lamentable fate, if you saw it with your own eyes, or if you have heard anyone speak of him in his wanderings. For he was born to sorrow, if any man ever was. And do not soften your words out of pity, to spare me, but tell me plainly what you saw of him. I beseech you, if ever in word or deed my honorable father made you a promise and did it before Troy, where you Achaeans suffered so much, remember that now for my sake, and tell me the truth about what happened to him." "My dear boy," answered the fine old cavalier, "how you bring it all back to me. What we reckless fellows did go through. How we ranged over the misty seas in our ships for plunder, wherever Achilles led us. How we fought round the great city of King Priam, which is in Troy. There and then all our best men were slain. So our job now is to have some of you guys do the reading. Remember that you should have a reader A, reader B, and 2 evidence finders. And we'll decide if we'd like to read any more as a class or if it's time to break up into our groups. But again, your job is to find out how Telemachus learned some knowledge to his advantage, both in the rest of this book and also in the next book. Nestor gives him some specific hints, along with the king he visits in the next book. So your job is to find that information out and compose a complete paragraph for each book, numbers 3 and 4, which I will collect tomorrow. So here we go. Good luck, and please gambate. This book is very difficult but very rewarding, so I know you'll do your best, and best of luck. May the force be with you.